Oh, welcome to the show. It is November 13th, Monday, November 13th, 7 o'clock. I'm here on time, as always. I'm never not on time. Don't look back to a couple weeks ago. Uh, yeah, so welcome to the show if you're here. Um, yeah, I got a bunch to talk about this week. It's been a bit of a weird week. Some stuff going on. There was another debate, third, I think it's the third RNC debate, this time done by NBC. So, it's going to be a dumpster fire when NBC's doing something. But Vivek Ramaswamy he was on the money. So we're going to talk about the highlights and stuff that he provided in that. And I'm guessing some people now, after watching some of the highlights, wish they watched it because he was on fire. So we'll talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about speaking of fire, this one's a dumpster fire. We're going to talk about uh, Rashida Tlaib, Congresswoman from Michigan, I think. She was censored by the House for just being outwardly anti-Semitic. So we'll talk about that. Obviously, it's not as clear cut as I'm making it that way, but we're going to talk about that whole thing. Then we're going to move off politics because politics. We're going to talk about the cyber attack on China's bank. It's actually the world's largest bank. They were cyber attacked. We'll talk about that and some of the implications that could have on the rest of banking. The fact that there's been some pretty big cyber attacks now, pretty scary stuff. Also, we'll talk about Bitcoin surging over the last, I don't know exactly, but little while. Bitcoin's been surging. It's up over 35,000 now, last I looked. And yeah, I don't know exactly why, to be honest. I mean, I've done a couple of different episodes about Bitcoin, or different segments, I should say, about Bitcoin and about how I think it's tied to the market. And in this case, it's kind of not. So I don't know. We're gonna talk about that a little bit too. Also, Peter Nygaard, you may not know who he is, but you've probably heard of Nygaard as a store. That's his. Well, he was convicted now, just recently charged with 4 counts of sexual assault. And yeah, so looks like the guy's gonna finally get a reckoning. Apparently, he's a bit of a scumbag, so I don't know. It's neither here nor there. I don't really know, but he's been accused, so and convicted now. So we'll talk about that, and also we'll end it off on talk about a guy named sorry, Alima Omega. He's uh, he's an internet personality. He's YouTube. You catch him on Facebook, catch him on probably TikTok. I think he's on Instagram as well. He does some funny videos where he just, it's like mimicry. He takes some of the funny, like, I think he started with gym videos mostly, and now he does other stuff. I'll play a video of his and kind of talk about him and do a little promotion of him. He's kind of my promotion of the week, if you will. I just like his videos, so figure I'll share them with you. If you like them, cool. Let me know in the comments and watch them because, of course, like I said, they're funny. Also, yeah, obviously, if you're watching right now or you have watched and you're not subscribed to the channel, yeah, please subscribe to the channel. It obviously helps a small channel like mine grow, and I've been growing pretty slowly, but overall, the last couple, maybe 6 months, grown quite a bit. So thanks to all the subscribers that have subscribed to the channel, and obviously, if you are subscribed and you are watching, jump in the chat. You'll notice that I do talk to anybody who's in the chat. Sometimes not in the middle of the video, since I do the segment videos during the week, and if I'm just chatting to somebody who's in the chat during one of those while I'm recording one of those videos, doesn't really make for a good rewatch because somebody wasn't really partaking in that conversation. And sometimes the conversation's a little lagged. So if you've made a comment about a previous segment that I'm talking about, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to talk about it in the next segment. So I usually talk about it or talk to you, or we discuss it in the middle of the segments. And obviously share, like, all that kind of stuff. All that, any engagement with any video, live broadcast, as you should know by now if you're watching on YouTube, does help channels, and it helps the videos, the algorithm to push those videos and such. So all of that kind of stuff helps. See, I don't make any money on this channel. I don't make any ad revenue, any of that kind of stuff. Obviously, I'm a little too small for any of that kind of stuff. But you know, if you do like the content, share it. That obviously that growth will help me to grow the channel and expand it a little bit more. So, all right. Without further ado, let's just get into the first of my topics here. All right, let me cue this up. Okay, so Vivek was on fire. Honestly, he was on fire in this last debate. I think he's kind of realized that he probably doesn't have a shot to win straight out, which is fine. I mean, realistically, I don't think anybody's going to beat Trump on the RNC side. Um, but he might as well just go out swinging at this point. Why not? And that seems to be what he did. He just kind of went out and torched NBC, and he torched, he torched anybody who was on the stage with him, mostly uh, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. But good on him, man. He's just out there, just lighting it up. Fun to watch. I'm gonna read this article, and I'm gonna play one of the biggest highlights from the debate. So this is from the Washington Post. So it's gonna have a left leaning perspective. But here we go. So the most memorable lines from the third Republican presidential debate. Republican presidential candidates again traded pointed barbs on stage during the party's third primary debate on Wednesday night. As in the two previous debates, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy lashed out at not only against his opponents, but also the Republican Party leadership, Ukraine, and even the debate's moderators. And while most candidates shied away from criticizing former President Donald Trump, who holds a commanding lead in polling and did not participate in the debate, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie went after him. Or he always goes at him. That's no surprise. Arguing that someone who faces as many indictments as the former president should not be the Republican nominee for president. If those indictments were real, sure, okay. Here we go. So here are some of the most memorable lines from the third Republican debate. I wear heels. They're not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition. Okay. That was what former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley said in response to entrepreneur Vivek, who made a dig at her and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in their choice of footwear. Do you want a leader from a different generation who is going to put the country first, or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch high or 3-inch heels on stage? Ramaswamy said. In which case, we've got two of them on stage tonight. That's pretty kind of. It's I don't know if it's hilarious, but it's punny. We'll put it that way because of the whole Bootgate thing. As you saw, I did that last week. I talked about that. If you're not familiar with the whole Bootgate thing, was somebody was well, I shouldn't say someone. It started with someone, and then it grew in traction as far as Ron DeSantis potentially wearing heightening, lifts in his cowboy boots. So, anyways, so that's what that's about. Ramaswamy's comment was a clear reference not only to Haley, the only woman on the stage and the only candidate clearly wearing high heels, but also to DeSantis. Okay, that's what I just said. Haley wasted no time in snapping back at Ramaswamy. I wear heels. They're not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition. Okay. Spending the next year and a half of their life focusing on keeping themselves out of jail and courtrooms. Christie, the resident Trump critic among the Republicans running for president in 2024, did not hold back on Wednesday when speaking about Trump and his legal troubles. I'll say this about Donald Trump. Anybody who's going to be spending the next year and a half of their life focusing on keeping themselves out of jail and courtrooms cannot lead this party or this country, Christie said. Christie has sought to establish distance between him and Trump, despite once being a close ally of the former president. Yeah, he's just a backstabber. Okay, leave my daughter out of your voice. What a stupid statement. But this is Nikki Haley. Leave my daughter out of your voice. You're just scum. Haley told Ramaswamy to keep her daughter's name out of your voice during a contentious moment on the debate stage. I think she got that maybe from the whole slap, the Will Smith slap thing. But anyways, she said that. You'll see in the video, actually, I'm going to play. Ramaswamy was asked how he could ban TikTok, the popular Chinese-owned social media app that has drawn scrutiny across the U.S. government, if he is an active user himself. Before explaining that the social media platform is important to reach younger generations of Americans, Ramaswamy replied to a moderator's question that he wanted to laugh at why Nikki Haley didn't answer your question, which is about looking at families in the eye. In the last debate, she made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time, he said. So you might want to take care of your own family first. As the crowd loudly booed Ramaswamy, an angry Haley told Ramaswamy to leave her daughter, who's 25, out of it. Well, she said what I said. She said keep your Leave my daughter out of your voice. That's a nonsense statement, but she said that. Okay. And then called him scum. Okay. So here, this is what Ramaswamy said. Actually, no, I'm going to pass that because you'll hear it in the video. It's pretty good. And then this one here, Ukraine has celebrated a Nazi in its ranks, a comedian in cargo pants, a man called Zelensky. Ramaswamy did not stop at blasting the moderators. The entrepreneur also lashed out at Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, who is leading his nation in its war against Russia by calling him a Nazi. Ukraine has celebrated a Nazi in its ranks, a comedian in cargo pants, a man called Zelensky, Ramaswamy said. Zelensky himself is Jewish, and this is a frequent Russian conspiracy theory used to attack him. For months, Ramaswamy has criticized U.S. support for the Ukrainian war effort and opposed proposals to send more funds to the war-torn nation. Ukraine is not a paragon of democracy, Ramaswamy said during the debate. Okay. And that's another Ramaswamy thing. So I'm not going to say this is the last one I'll say here. So Putin and President Xi are salivating at the thought that someone like that could become president. Another Nikki Haley one. In response to Ramaswamy's multiple attacks on Ukraine, Haley said the leaders of Russia and China are salivating at the thought of someone like him winning the presidency. Earlier in the debate, Ramaswamy had called Haley a war hawk on Ukraine. I am telling you, Vladimir Putin and President Xi are salivating at the thought that someone like that could become president, Haley said of Ramaswamy. So, okay. So, great. Ooh. A couple of little lines that I don't think were really zingers, but here's what Ramaswamy said in real time. This is how he attacked both the moderators of the debate and then just everything in general. Here, I'll just play the video here.
Ramaswamy, let me turn to you. Please make your case. Why should you be the nominee and not the former president?
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losing in the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, I mean, Kristen, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation? Answer the question. Go. Mr. Roberts. This is how we get our country back. We need accountability because this media rigged the 2016 election. They rigged the 2020 election with the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
and they're going to rig this election.
Your time is up.
Accountability.
Let me turn to Governor Christie. Why you?
Wow. Doesn't he kind of remind you of somebody? I don't know, just me. The way he talks, and he's so passionate the way he talks, and he's a very good speaker. He sounds very political or, very polished. Sounds like Obama to me. Like he really has that Obama sound, but without, like an unfiltered Obama. So I like him. I don't know. I've always liked him. I think while I think he's polished, polished and just intelligent are kind of, they're synonyms, I think, in this case, right? So I don't think he has a chance, unfortunately, but I love that he shakes it up. And he just completely torched them in this one. He was torching everybody. He was torching Haley. He was torching DeSantis. If you are so inclined, I think it's about 2 hours. If you want to watch the debate, you should go and check it out. It was quite good. Or else you might be able to just catch some of the highlights like I just showed you there. But either way, it's a pretty good watch. All right. Okay. Yeah, that had me laughing. Like, for one, how could you disagree with him that those three people should moderate? Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. I mean, Elon Musk would be a bit of a weird one, but the first two for sure, 100%. I'm sure you could find a third that's more, even like Bill Maher. Even Bill Maher would be. I think Bill Maher would be really good, even though he's, he leans a little left, but that's fine. I mean, he's more on the center than most at this point. So yeah, it was good. It's going to be fun to see if he can actually make up some ground. But right now, I think he's like third. I think maybe even fourth right now. So he's really not. I don't think he's. I don't think anybody's going to move the Mercury past Trump anyway. So it'd just be nice to see if he could gain some traction, maybe be the second guy, and then you could see maybe a Trump uh, Ramaswamy card. That'd be pretty kick ass. All right, let's get to the next thing here. Oh, there you are, Joe. You forgot it was Monday. Yeah, I almost did too. I don't know if you noticed that I put the notification for the show out like literally 5 minutes before. I was doing a bunch of stuff. I pre-prepped a little bit, did some reading and stuff, and then I was on to some stuff, and then literally I'm like, oh shit! Look at the time. I'm like, fuck, it was like 10 to 7. I'm like, shit, I got to get some stuff done. So I went on to Canva and did my thumbnail for the show and uploaded that, set that all up, and then I was testing the camera, testing all that kind of stuff. I was just getting everything tested up, but luckily I got in there just in time. Ever since the guys over at PC Works fixed my computer issues, it's been running good now, so no real issues. The minute I put put my software up to cast, it's there's zero problems. So but thanks for joining, buddy. Yeah, so you missed a whole segment pretty much. You would have commented pretty good on that video, I'm sure. You probably saw I'm guessing you saw the RNC debate, or at least parts of it, because it was hard to miss. There was a lot of stuff going around, at least a lot of clips on it. Because Vivek is good for that. He's good for clips. He's definitely good for sound bites. But okay, so let me get on to the next thing here. Okay. Ah, this Rashida Tlaib. She is she's one of this squad, right? The this insufferable squad that's in the U.S. Congress right now. You haven't heard a lot necessarily about AOC and the others and whatever that other idiot is, but this one now because of the whole Hamas Israel thing, you're hearing a lot about Rashida Tlaib, and she was real vocal about and her all of her anti-Israel rhetoric. Listen, I can't I can't hate on her. She's a Palestinian woman, right? So she's going to obviously have real strong feelings for what's going on over there. So I don't hate on her for that. What I do hate on anybody for in anything like this is not being able to see the nuance on both sides and not being able to see, the truth of what's going on. You can be blinded by pure anger at the outcomes of what's happening, or you can look at what's bringing about these things and say, okay, well, I can understand from that point of view. Like if she had just come out and said, she had said she was against Hamas completely and wanted to see a Palestinian state. Again, that name's nonsense, but she wanted to see a Palestinian state. Fine, that's fine. But to say that you want to see the end of the Jewish state is just nonsense to me. But so she got censored in the Congress. I'm going to read this article here fairly quickly. This is from MSNBC, so of course it's going to be garbage, but I'm going to read it anyway. It's always good to get the perspective from the dumpster fire. So here it is. How House Republicans are literally abusing their privilege, of course. All right. Last week, the House voted on a resolution to censor Representative Rashida Tlaib for her statements about the war against Israel, or between Israel and Hamas. I can't read right now. Came just a few months after House Republicans censored Adam Schiff as revenge for his role in impeaching former President Donald Trump. Sure. Like, I love how they frame this as revenge. Like, shut up. Okay. Those resolutions were both fast-tracked to the floor, taking advantage of a parliamentary quirk that deems them privileged as they deal with the privileges of the House. So it means that they have voting privileges in the House. So there's nothing new about the use of privilege resolutions, which must be voted on within two legislative days once they're introduced. Over the last few decades, they've often been used as tools for the minority party to force votes that are more about scoring political points than simply making sure the House is functioning properly. But the censures of Tlaib and Schiff are different. They show that despite being in the majority, Republicans have resorted to using their privilege to create the illusion of action as their majority squabbles over how to achieve anything substantive. Okay, a lot to unpack there. There's a little bit of truth there, but that's on both sides. Like you're acting like that's a Republican thing. There hasn't been anything substantive done in the House in years. It's I think honestly, I think the only skeleton POS that's ever gotten anything done in that House is probably Nancy Pelosi, because I think yeah, I think she's bad, but she's good at getting things done in the House. So yeah, the rest of them just kind of, it's just like shuffling chairs on the Titanic. House rules define so-called questions of privilege as those that deal with the safety, dignity, and the integrity of proceedings. Those those can be matters that fall solely under the House's jurisdiction, like impeachment and initiating spending bills and making sure that the record of debates is accurate. They also include allegations of impropriety, uh, most often demanding that the ethics committee look into allegations against a member. Looking back at the privilege resolutions filed in the last 20 years, the party in the minority tends to file many more of them. This makes sense since the main perk of being in the majority is controlling the speakership, and with it, the power to set the legislative agenda. Invoking privilege thus becomes a way to get around majority control. And since the clock starts as soon as these resolutions are introduced and accepted as legitimately privileged, they can't be ignored or put on the back burner. Okay, so this just goes into a little bit of that. I'm just going to talk in jest. I mean, if you're using you're using your platform or you're using your position in the House to call against a war, great. Okay. Like Tlaib is doing essentially, but what she's doing is she's not calling out to be like, she's not calling out her disdain or her, uh, you know, she's not against the war itself. What she's against the, I guess, retaliation of Israel for what Hamas did to them on October 7th. So while retaliation and these kinds of things, it's not obviously not the greatest way to handle things. I think anybody that was attacked so I'll just say grossly would want some form of retaliation, or the very least, and I think this is more what it is, would want to put an absolute end to it ever happening again. So, and the fact that she's using her ability to speak in the House to just slight on the state of Israel and calling for its annihilation, I think warrants her censorship. So I don't. So I can see why MSNBC is talking like this, because it's a garbage news organization, and it's just a propaganda machine. So that's all they're saying. They're just going to spew out that kind of garbage anyway. Now, as far as the Adam Schiff thing, I don't know. Whatever. He's a tool. So shut him up. Shut most of them up. They're all a bunch of tools. But in this case, I think Rashida Tlaib deserves it. I think it's enough of this rhetoric. If you're a member in the House of Representatives, just do the work. Do the work at home. Worry about what's going on at home. Worry about what's going on with your constituents, and worry about the American people. Don't worry about a war abroad. Worry about the crumbling bridges at home. How about that? I don't know. Or maybe the economy being just garbage. It seems it just seems, I don't know. It seems like a no-brainer to me. But what are you saying, Joe? Uh, oh, yeah, yeah. Girlfriends can do that, buddy. Girlfriends are time consuming. I've got one of those. She's not new, but she is time consuming. She does like to take my time up. And if she's watching, she's probably going to get mad at me for saying that. What else? You're in Michigan. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's probably it probably explains why she represents that area. If there's a lot of Arab Arabs in that area, which is fine. Like in Canada. Okay, so in Canada here, we're an absolute melting pot of different cultures. You get like if you go to Toronto, for example, there's like you got Little China in Toronto. You've got all kinds of areas where it's one group, and so yeah, a riding in that area is going to obviously be someone from that culture, most likely. I mean, they're gonna vote for their own, which is fine. It's good representation of people and such. But just if you're representing people in this country or in the U.S. or away from your home country, you should be representing those people here, not worried about the people over there. You know, or at least okay. Let me rephrase that. Worry about them, fine. But worry about people here first. First, second, first, second. How about in that order, right? There should be a hierarchy. So, uh, ketchup chips are delicious. Okay. If you don't like ketchup chips, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The fact that you guys don't have ketchup chips in the U.S. is, I think, it's just a blind spot. I think you're gonna see the red wave coming. You're gonna see the ketchup wave. The red wave is coming your way. We don't have a lot of foods that you guys have down there. We didn't have for a while. We didn't have fruity and cocoa pebbles, which delicious cereals, by the way. But all right, let me get on to the next thing here. I'm just gonna you and me are gonna talk all night, Joe. So I got stuff to talk about. Let's get on to this one here. So another cyber attack, kind of crazy. This one's pretty big. This one's the world's largest bank, happens to be in China. It's the ICBC, and they got a cyber attack. Let me read this article from CNBC. CNBC is part of garbage, it's NBC, but sometimes kind of gets the mark when they're talking a little bit about money. Unless it's Kramer. That guy is just a train wreck. That guy misses on everything. But here we go. So China's ICBC, the world's biggest bank, hit by cyber attack that reportedly disrupted treasury markets. So the U.S. Financial Services Division of Chinese bank ICBC was hit by a cyber attack that reportedly affected the trade of U.S. treasuries. The ICBC, the world's largest lender by assets, said Thursday its financial services arm experienced a ransomware attack that resulted in disruption to certain systems. Security expert, uh, security experts, I guess, have said ransomware from the hacking group Lockbit was used to carry out the cyber attack on ICBC. I still don't get why edit your articles. It's I think they're just getting these articles out so fast they can't even proofread it. Just smash it out of there. U.S. Financial Services Division of Chinese bank ICBC was hit with a cyber attack that reportedly stopped. Oh, I read that. Okay. Why are you doubling up here? These articles that double up. Okay. Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, the world's largest lender by assets. Uh, again, this is all the same stuff. All right. Why are you reading this twice? Why is it writing this twice? Immediately after discovering the hack, ICBC isolated impacted systems to contain the incident, the state owned bank said. Ransomware is a type of cyber attack. It involves hackers taking control of systems or information and only letting them go once the victim has paid a ransom. It's a type of attack that has seen an explosion in popularity among bad actors in recent years. Yeah, I wonder why. Because they're paying it. When you pay, people are going to do more. They're going to see it and they're going to go, this works. It's like negotiating with terrorists. I understand it's not much you can do if you need that information and it's critical for your company and such, but I don't know. You got to do something, man. You're going to keep paying these guys. They're going to keep demanding it. And there's demand more and more when they realize they've got good stuff. Or just know that you're going to pay this shit and put a little slush fund for it. ICBC did not reveal who was behind the attack, but said it has been conducting a thorough investigation and is progressing its recovery efforts with the support of its professional team of information security experts. Yeah, good job with those information security experts. They were beat by a bunch of hackers, so not so expert. The Chinese bank also said it's working with law enforcement. Of course, ICBC said it successfully cleared U.S. Treasury trades executed Wednesday and repo financing trades done on Thursday. Repo is a repurchase agreement, a type of short-term borrowing for dealers in government bonds. However, multiple news outlets reported that there was a disruption to U.S. Treasury trades. The Financial Times, citing traders and banks, said Friday that the ransomware attack prevented the ICBC division from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. The U.S. Treasury Department told CNBC, "We are aware of the cybersecurity issue and are in regular contact with key financial sector participants in addition to federal regulators." Of course. What are you going to say? No, we have no idea, and we're screwed. So, no, don't worry about it. We're good. Yeah. ICBC said the email and business systems of its U.S. financial services arm operate independently of ICBC's China operations. The systems of its head office, the ICBC New York branch, and other domestic and overseas affiliated institutions were not affected by the cyber attack. So, let me see. What do we know about the ransomware attack? Nobody has claimed responsibility for attack yet, and ICBC has not yet said who might be behind it. In the cyber security world, finding out who is behind a cyber attack is often very difficult due to the techniques hackers use to mask their locations and identities. Okay, it says something down here. Oh, here it is. The VMware cybersecurity team said in a blog last year that Lockbit 3.0 is a challenge for security researchers because each instance of the malware requires a unique password to run, without which analysis is extremely difficult or impossible. The researchers added that the ransomware is heavily protected against analysis. So this is where they said, okay, that was the software that was behind the attack. I think that was used. That might have been the one that was used behind the attack for the against MGM a few months back, if you remember, in the summer. What is Lockbit? Lockbit is a group behind the software. Its business model is known as ransomware as a service. It effectively sells its malicious software to other hackers known as affiliates, who then go on to carry out the cyber attacks. The leader of the group goes by the online name of Lockbit Sup on dark web hacking forums. The group primarily posts in Russian and English, but according to its website, the group claims to be located in the Netherlands and to not be politically motivated. Flashpoint said in a podcast or a blog post. Yeah, usually it's most of the time it isn't politically motivated. A lot of people think that, especially when it's if it's attacking something like that. I guess I don't know, like a Chinese bank. Maybe somebody would think, well, I don't know, whatever. They might think it's something to do with the U.S. versus China, but it's usually just money. These guys are just going after money. I mean, and if you keep paying them money, well, they will keep doing the thing that makes you pay them the money. So, what do you think? Anyways, so yeah. So I don't know if you should worry or not. This is a Chinese bank, and this is treasury trades and stuff. This probably has nothing to do with you or I as consumers, but it just goes to show you that these cyber attacks are getting more and more sophisticated, and they can kind of get into anything now. If they can get into the world's largest bank and start disrupting stuff, geez, it's going to be small balls to get into some of the smaller stuff that maybe our money's in. All right. What do you got to say, Joe? What are you saying for yourself? No, we're gonna shove ketchup chips down your throat. We're gonna shove them down. Actually, it's funny because if you don't like ketchup chips, whatever, but ketchup ringolos, you got to know what ringolos are. I don't know if, hopefully you have ringolos down there. There's barbecue ringolos, but then there was ketchup ringolos. There used to be, I think there was ketchup Doritos at one point too. Oh, delicious. Add ketchup to everything, bud. It works. You'll get a taste for it. Just eat it the next time you're up in Windsor again. All right. Let's get on the next thing here. So Bitcoin is surging again. I don't know why exactly. Doesn't seem like there's a at least a reason why it's surging as much as it is. I'm going to read this article here. This is CoinDesk. I was trying to get some other articles on it, and there were some fluffy articles about it. This one seemed to be a little bit more kind of just clear and concise, but here we go. So Bitcoin tops 35K, hitting 16-month high. Options positioning suggests price has further to run. So Bitcoin surged past 35,000 on Monday, hitting the highest price since May of 2022, as cryptocurrency markets continue their October bull run amid optimism that the the BTC ETF will get approved by the US or approved in the US. I guess that would be why, but that's still, wow, it's quite a run. Bitcoin was recently up more than 11% in the past 24 hours to 33,316, pulling back from the peak of its surge, but still up dramatically. There's been a swell of optimism in recent days that the US will get Bitcoin ETFs, fueled by a recent court ruling in favor of Grayscale that boosted odds the biggest Bitcoin trust, its GBTC product, can be converted into one. And BlackRock's, oh, of course, BlackRock, they got to be involved. And BlackRock's application to list one took a semi-step forward when its proposed product showed up on a depository trust and clearing corp website, clearing corp website. Yeah, I'm having a hard time. With an assigned unique ID number, something that doesn't mean its ETF was approved, but a step some interpreted as a sign the company is confident it will win. So this was, oh, I don't even know what that is. Chainlink's Polkadot's native token DOT and Polygon's Matic were among the best performing large cap digital assets with 6 to 10% advances. Ether, I should say, and Ripple related token XRP, which I own, by the way, posted 2 and 3% gains. The U.S. stock market erased early Monday losses to finish mixed as the 10-year Treasury yield turned sharply lower after hitting 5% for the first time in 16 years early in the session. So, as I said before, I think Bitcoin, I just think cryptocurrency in general, the big ones anyway, the small ones, I don't know. But the big ones, they're tied to the market. So when you see the market kind of doing some things, you'll see Bitcoin going, which was supposed to be kind of the opposite. They were supposed to be decentralized and not really affected by those kinds of things. But now you've got real money backed into Bitcoin. So anytime you see the markets kind of doing some things or there's speculation, you're going to start to see Bitcoin and other solid, I'll say, solid cryptocurrencies moving along with it. There's always going to be speculation in the garbage coins. Like a bunch of years back, Dogecoin, when Dogecoin did something, but it's a useless coin. It was just a meme coin, and it just went all over the place. Probably because Elon said something about it. But Bitcoin's actually substantive. It actually has some real money back behind it. So what's next for BTC price? The CoinDesk Bitcoin Trend Indicator, which measures the directional momentum and strength in Bitcoin's price action, switched to significant uptrend as BTC strengthens its footing above the 30,000 level. Todd Groth, head of research at CoinDesk Indices, noted, BTC, ETH, and the CoinDesk Market Index (CMI) are all up week over week while decoupling from tech stocks and rising long-dated yields. So let me see here. So they're saying, okay, they're going to hedge their positions above the 30,000 price level. So at its peak around 32,005, almost 20 million of BTC will need to be purchased by options dealers for every 1% move up to stay delta neutral. So yeah, we're getting in some muddy water here where I don't even understand this kind of jargon. So to kind of sum up, it seems like they're saying that that Bitcoin is still bullish and it could still be on an up run. But I don't know. It's so hard to tell with Bitcoin. Oh, here we go. Here's Art. I'll get to you in a second, Art, when I finish this video off here. But it seems with Bitcoin, it's just they go on these massive runs and then kind of tanks off a little. I don't. It's so hard to predict. I wouldn't even know where to start. But I don't know. You watch and you tell me. Tell me in the comments what you think. Okay, already there you are, buddy. I'm talking Bitcoin, so you're gonna get in. All right, what are you saying here? There are a few reasons for the surge. SEC loses to Ripple, or lost to Ripple. BTC having event, and really the largest event is a pending approval of the ETF. Market is pricing it in. Yeah, that's what that article's talking about. That the ETF, which I can see why that would, at least speculation would drive the price up, but the fact that they're saying it's been bullish over a month and it's staying bullish, I mean, it's all speculation. I don't know. It's hard to say. What are you saying, Joe? Bitcoin is the future. I don't understand it all, but everyone seems to love it. I don't know why every transaction is on a ledger. Yeah, if you want to know anything about Bitcoin, the guy in the comment section right now talking. That's my buddy Art. He'll tell you all about it. He's been on the show before and we talked about it. He's kind of the resident expert at this point. So this allows for legitimate institutional investments without direct exposure holding BTC. Estimates are that 15 trillion will flow into the ETF and derivative products. The run typically occurs after the halving event, approximately 1 year after. Reasonable to assume 2 to 3x from previous high of 68K US dollars. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You and I, we always have this. We always have these debates. I have a difference of opinion on Bitcoin. I I don't think I think the predictive models for Bitcoin are tough to go on because it's so unpredictable. And the original predictive models on Bitcoin were as a decentralized token, essentially, a form of currency, whatever you want to call it. But now, since it's now being legitimized and it's essentially being added to fixed assets, that predictability is going to be a little bit different. You kind of have to predict it using now these fixed asset models. So I don't know. I don't see it running up that high, but you and I have differed on that opinion before in the past. It'll be interesting to see. It's nice to see it running up though. I wish I'd got in on it when it was cheap again, but you know, I didn't, sadly. All right, let me get on to the next thing here, or else we're gonna turn this whole podcast into a Bitcoin session. This is not gonna interest you. This is gonna shut you guys right up, I think, but it's happening. Here we go. So Peter Nygaard, he got caught finally and convicted of some sexual assault. Yes, he was assaulting people in his offices. So this guy, I don't know. Maybe he was a bit of a scumbag. I'm going to read this article here from The Guardian. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. We'll see. This is fresh for me. I haven't read anything about this. So fresh eyes for me, fresh eyes for you, or fresh ears for you. So Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygaard found guilty of sexual assault. Prosecutors had said the 82-year-old lured women to a private bedroom suite after inviting them on a tour of his headquarters. Okay. You got a bedroom suite in your headquarters. It's probably problems, but whatever. What do I know? I'm not an 82-year-old weirdo. The former Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygaard has been found guilty on 4 counts of sexual assault after 5 women testified he used a private bedroom suite in his company headquarters to assault them. The verdict by a Toronto jury came midday on Sunday after 5 days of deliberation. Nygaard, 82, was acquitted of 1 of 5 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of forcible confinement. Over the 6-week trial, the court heard graphic and emotional testimony from 5 women, whose identities are protected by a publication ban, about assaults that occurred from the 1980s to the mid-2000s. Now, why didn't they say anything until now? I never understand this shit. Why do you hold on to this crap for so long? Were they still working there? Were they enriched somehow? I know I'm victim blaming right now. I apologize. Prosecutors had said that Nygaard met the women on social settings and invited them to the headquarters of his clothing empire in Toronto. All of the tours ended in his bedroom suite. Well, they should all end. All tours should end in a bedroom suite. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. If you ever take a tour of my place, it's probably going to end up in my bedroom. Just saying. I'm just kidding. Anybody who's watching would get mad at me for saying that. Just kidding. Geez, what am I getting over here? Prosecutors had said that. Oh, sorry, I read that already. The room had a bed, televisions, and a jacuzzi. That sounds delightful. I think I'd like to end that tour in that suite. I just don't want, I don't want the old man penis in me or anything like that. But prosecutors say the doors didn't have handles and the locks were controlled by Nygaard. That's creepy, man. If you go into a room and it doesn't have handles, grab the side of the door and get out. Just GTFO. That's problems. Okay, just like a car, it doesn't have handles. Screw that. I'm out. One instance, a woman testified that she was only 16 years old. 16 years old when an older man she was dating brought her to Nygaard's headquarters. That's nice of him. She said Nygaard sexually assaulted her, and when she was leaving the building, a woman handed her an emergency contraceptive pill. Oh, that sounds like a whole sitch. They had it all planned. Another broke down during her testimony. telling the court she worried any complaint against him would be dismissed. He's so wealthy and so powerful. Who would believe me? Okay, that's you hear that sometimes, but we're in a time now that it's like, whatever. I guess maybe when it was happening, it was in the 80s. Yeah, okay, maybe it's a different thing. Nygaard told the court that he couldn't recall meeting 4 of the 5 women. Well, he's 82, probably having a hard time recalling what he ate for breakfast. So, nor did he remember having any interaction with them decades ago. He also denied allegations of sexual misconduct and sexual assault, telling the court the behavior was out of character. My position, well, okay, listen, out of character. You have a bedroom suite without door handles on it. I think your character's a little sus. Okay. My position is that I would not have conducted myself in that kind of manner, Nygaard testified. He also told the court no one could have been locked inside his private suite. In closing arguments last week, Crown prosecutor Anna Serban said Nygaard's testimony was unreliable and lacked credibility. Nygaard's lawyer, Brian Greenspan, argued that the 5 women lacked credibility because of the fatal flaws and lack of testimonial trustworthiness of their allegations. Okay, whatever. He's going to appeal. Born in Finland, and weird, by the way, Nygaard grew up in Manitoba, eventually running his namesake clothing companies and becoming one of Canada's wealthiest people. He stepped down as chairman of the company after the FBI and police raided his offices in New York City in 2020. In the years since, the company has filed for bankruptcy and entered into receivership. Canadian police arrested Nygaard on horseback, most likely, in late 2020 at the request of the U.S. In addition to the guilty verdict on Sunday, Nygaard faces criminal charges in 3 other jurisdictions. He stands accused of sexual assault and forcible confinement in Quebec and Manitoba, with the allegations dating back to the 90s. He's also facing charges in the U.S. Okay, so, he's facing a lawsuit brought by 57 women, including 18 Canadians, which alleges that Nygaard used violence, intimidation, bribery, and company employees to lure victims and avoid accountability for decades. So, of course, he denies all the allegations. Yeah, this guy sounds pretty delightful. I don't know if he has lots of money. So if he's taking me on tours, I just make sure there's like a money table somewhere on those tours. So if I was gonna get a little touchy, at least I have some money to put in my pocket. What do you guys got to say here? Okay. All right. Now I knew you'd be done, Art. Art's done talking. I'm talking about stuff he's not interested in anymore. What do you got? More Tay-Tay. Way to hype up for such a gross story. Dude. Tay-Tay? When did I say Tay-Tay? Did I say Tay-Tay? Were we talking about Taylor Swift there? Listen, I'll tell you, if old man was trying to give me wang, there'd be a cost. Okay. I'll touch it for a certain price. I'm just saying. So if any old men are watching and they got enough money, hit me up in the comments. We could work something out, I think. All right, let's get on to the next thing. Let's get off gross old men and talk about a funny dude. No, I didn't want more Tay-Tay. No more Tay-Tay. I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's ugh. I already did part of that on the podcast. That's once is enough. All right, let's go. Okay, if you haven't heard of this guy, this is Alima Omega. He's funny. Like, I don't know how funny necessarily he is, but his videos are funny. It just he takes viral videos and stuff, or just pieces of like TikToks and stuff like that, and he just mimics them or makes fun of them, or he does it from the cameraman's perspective, which is hilarious. Those videos always make me laugh. You're watching somebody do something stupid, and then it shows him like reacting to them doing the stupid thing as if he were right there with them doing it. Very funny. I'm gonna play this little. I think it's about a minute long. I apologize for the size. I can't expand this video because of the type of video it is. It's a short on YouTube, and if you expand it, you lose a ton of the framework. So I'm just gonna play it this way. Squint your eyes, turn your screen, do whatever you gotta do, but you'll see what I'm talking about. Or then just go look them up and find the video that I'm playing. Here we go. Yeah, here's what I'm talking about when he's like in the same place. What's this guy doing?
Bro, do you mind cycling down here so I can use the squat rack? Who's taking my barbell? Yeah, because I just wanted to make sure you had it so you could have a good session, yeah? Because I'm done.
Yeah. So you see what I mean? It's like most of the videos are like him awkwardly responding to what's happening. A lot of his gym culture stuff. It's just funny stuff. It's good little funny videos. Um, I've been catching this guy for months now. The algorithms seem to know that I like his stuff, so they plop his all over my feed. But I like it. It's good. Check him out. Like I said, his name's Alima Omega. Let me know in the comments what you think about him. I think he's funny. I just think that simple little videos like that are pretty funny. I think he's kind of nailing the short form content. So good on him. All right. What I took the you're saying I took the Tay Tay stuff too far? I apologize. I probably did. I listen. I had so many plays on the Tay Tay, thing. I could have done a lot of stupid stuff, but I checked myself. I figured it would be bad if I did. So you're welcome for that. It would have just been. You probably just would have left right away. So all right. Well, that's about all I got. That's I think we can probably just go ahead and end it there. We're at about 52 minutes, so we're good. We're still under the hour. It's my allotted hour. What do you got? What are you saying? Oh yeah, yeah. Listen. I Well, wouldn't you? If somebody offered you enough money, we have these kind of conversations between me and my friends all the time. The hypothetical conversations. How much 4x? Yeah. There's always a number. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess depends on what you're talking about. But gross and sexually related stuff, there's always a number. And at least for me, anybody who says there isn't a number, I kind of call bullshit. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna say no. There's a number, Joe. Come on, somebody hard cash. All right, all right, all right. Hard cash in your face. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, well, we won't see. What am I saying? We'll see. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you, bud. You're not that far away. I'm gonna drive down to you with a briefcase full of cash, and we see what you do. I'm not gonna do that. I promise. I'm not gonna do that. Well, thanks for watching, buddy. Thanks for joining, even though, yeah, even though you were late. It's fine. Um, if you are watching and you weren't in the comments and you caught any part of this and you liked the podcast, like, subscribe, do all the things. If you missed a bunch and you want to check it out and you don't want to watch the whole live uh, podcast, just you can just catch pieces of what I've talked about. I do 6 different topics, typically, sometimes a seventh. I post them from Tuesday through Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern. You can catch them then. Share them, like them, all that kind of stuff. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Share the channel. Get your friends to subscribe. Get their friends to subscribe. Get their parents to subscribe. Get everybody to subscribe. And let's get, by next week, let's get to 3 million subs. That'd be amazing. I wouldn't put it in your face. No. No, listen, I'm not doing those things anyway. Listen, I want to be the one that gets the money. I'm not giving money for anything. Come on, man. Listen, there's a number you could pay me to do the weird things. I'm not paying anybody money to do anything weird. You can do the weird stuff for free on your own. So I just think you got a number, Joe. But you'll never find out from me. But all right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for jumping in and talking to me, Joe. We'll see you next week, Monday, 7 o'clock, like always. Stay classy.